just your little secret. I didn't hear the sirens. I didn't want to see the warning signs, and now I pay the price, yeah. Oh, I should've known. It hits me like a tidal wave every time you say my name. It hits me like a tidal wave. It hits me like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Tidal wave.
What's going on, guys? It's Swimzyy here, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Now in this video we're going to be looking at the incredible Incarnon Boar. Now this weapon is a shotgun. It is a pretty decent shotgun, but this Incarnon form actually elevates it to a whole new level. I really like the Incarnon form, so I hope you guys do too. If you did enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe. Everything helps me out, and let's get into the build. So this is the Boar Prime. It's a pretty decent weapon. You can put this Boar Incarnon Genesis on either the Prime if you have it, or the standard Boar. I would recommend getting the Boar Prime because it has better stats overall. So I have two setups for you in today's video. I have the Endgame Setup, which I will test second, and then I have the standard setup, which I will test first. Now the standard build is for the new player friendly, so if you like that build but want to incorporate other mods into it, obviously you can. If you have the primed mods, galvanized mods, or a riven, then you can put them on, do whatever you want to do. This is just my take on the Incarnon Boar. I'm going to go over the endgame setup first, but as I said during testing, I'm going to test the standard one just so there's no confusion and you can see the best possible build at the end of the video. With this endgame setup we have a riven, which it's an alright riven. Damage to infested, critical damage and critical chance. This actually boosts the weapon's performance a lot. I would re-roll this riven personally, but I am out of Kuva right now. Then we have Galvanized Hell, plus 110 multi-shot, on kill plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. Hunter Munitions for that 30% chance to apply slash on critical hits. Frigid Blast and Toxic Barrage for 60 cold, 60 toxin, and 60 status each. This makes viral, and viral with the Hunter Munitions does crazy amounts of damage. This is a shotgun, so it has pellets, and each pellet will proc slashes, and the viral will kick in. Then we have critical deceleration, 200% critical chance, negative 20% fire rate, primed point blank for that massive damage boost, and primed ravage for that massive critical damage boost. We also are running Primary Merciless today. On kill plus 30% damage for 4 seconds, stacks up to 12 times, plus 30% reload speed. On the left hand side, critical chance 139.3%, critical multiplier 7.7 times, status per projectile 24.8%, doing slash and viral for 4,892 total damage. Moving on to the standard setup, we have Chilling Grasp for that 90% cold, Point Blank for base damage, critical deceleration once again, 200% critical chance, negative 20% fire rate, Toxic Barrage and Frigid Blast for that viral and status, Hunter Munitions for 30% chance to apply slash on critical hits, Normal Ravage for 60% critical damage, and Hell's Chamber for that 120 multi-shot. Also running the same R5 Primary Merciless Arcane. Now on the left side, the stats have changed a little bit. We've got 105% crit chance, 4 times critical multiplier, the same status at 24.8%, doing more viral and more damage, total of 5,183. With the builds out of the way, let's go on to Cavallaro. Alright, so we are at Cavallaro, and he actually evolves your Incarnon weapons. Now, this build is pretty former heavy. It has 5 former, but the Boar Prime specifically is worth it. I'm not sure about the Boar. For Evolution 1, play a solo mission with the weapon equipped, and you will gain the Incarnon form. Evolution 2, get 100 kills with the Incarnon form, and you will unlock these 2 choices. You have 2 choices between Refied Bane, increases damage by 10, on reload from empty, increases damage by 10, Or you have Fortress Salvo, increases damage by 16 with armor over 450 plus 4 punch through. You could choose either one of these, but I'm going to go with Refied Bane because my plan is to use all of the ammo, reload, and increase that damage by 10. Moving on to Evolution 3, you have 3 choices. Ready Retaliation, on reload from empty plus 100% reload speed. Mercenary Chamber, increases ammo capacity to 195. Or Practice Grip, increases accuracy by 50%. I chose Ready Retaliation because this weapon has a somewhat long reload, so this helps me reload really quickly and get back into the action. Finally, Evolution 4, you have 3 choices once again. Elemental Balance, increases status chance by 12%. Critical Parallel, increases critical chance by 20%, increases critical damage multiplier by 0.5 times. Or Survivor's Edge, increase critical chance by 10%, increase status chance by 6. You could run either of these. I'm running Critical Parallel for that increase of 20% base critical chance and that crit damage multiplier of 0.5. Now let's move on to the Simulacrum. Alright, we're in the Simulacrum and I'm using Mirage today for testing. Now I'm going to test both builds. First, I'm going to go no abilities. Second, I'm going to use all of my abilities just so I can show you the best damage output and the base damage output that this weapon gives. This is the standard build that we will be testing first. It is pretty decent. As I said, if you want to switch some mods in for this build, you could obviously, if you have Galvanized Hell, change it for Standard Hell, or any primed mods, you could definitely slap them in place of the standard. But this is for the new player friendly, and it is a pretty decent build. Now, we are going to be versing 20 level 165 Steel Path Corrupted Bombard Eximus for today's video, just because they are pretty tanky, and I want to show you how much damage this weapon actually deals. So, the standard form is a rotating shotgun that procs a lot of slash and viral if you end up running it. And as you can see, that reload is very long, but if you actually use all of the ammo and then reload, you gain extra reload speed from that choice that we chose in Cavallaro. And it's pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. It lacks a little bit, but with the slash and viral, it actually does pretty decent, as you can see. This weapon is very good. Its Incarnon form and standard form are pretty decent, as you will see later in the video. But for now, this is actually pretty decent damage for the level that we are running. That slash is critical. Alright, moving on to the Incarnon form. It shoots out a beam that does viral and slash. Now, I would recommend actually, if you are versing Energy Leech Eximuses or any other type of Eximus, drop their overshield when using this Incarnon form first, because the Incarnon form for the standard build isn't that great. Once they have no overshield, the heat and slash with the viral builds up, and it ends up doing pretty decent damage. When using this build, I would recommend using the standard form as much as you can, and when you start to run out of ammo, switch to your Incarnon, because it's just much better. These enemies are quite tanky for a standard build as well, so keep that in mind. But so far the damage is alright with the standard form. The Incarnon form is a bit of a letdown on the standard build, but if you don't have the Incarnon, then this standard build will work just fine. I'm going to spawn these guys once again, and now I'm going to use all of my abilities. Look at this. Like 3 shots, 2 shots. Probably even 1. Some pretty decent damage with Mirage. With the Incarnon form, it is a different story. As you can see, now it is doing pretty decent damage. because of Mirage's buffs. These enemies really don't stand a chance. And there we go. Moving on to the endgame setup, the setup you've all been waiting for. This is the Riven, plus damage to infested, which doesn't really matter, plus critical damage, plus critical chance. This puts it above 100%, so we should be dealing some pretty decent damage. Now, this weapon is actually pretty good with the endgame setup. I would recommend getting a Riven for it. Look at that. Some nice orange crits in there. One-shotting the overshield. Gotta get that long reload speed in, but then you will get the reload speed. Look at that. What a slug cannon. Moving on to the Incarnon form. That is so good. With Mirage's abilities, this endgame setup gets taken to a whole nother level. Look at that. It's like a laser pointer. And done. I'm going to spawn them once again, and I'm going to show you with all of Mirage's abilities, and things are about to get nutty. Activate all the abilities, and yeah, one shot is a glass cannon. One shot headshot. Moving on to the Incarnon. Look at all those crits. So good, man. This weapon is so fun. It's one of my favorite shotguns. Look at that. All dead in an instant. That is spectacular. Now, I'm actually going to show you this weapon in action in Steel Path Survival. Alright, so I am on Mott in the Void right now. Level 140 to 145 enemies. Steel Path, of course. And I'm running Neza for this survival, just so I don't go down too much with Mirage, because she is quite a squishy frame. But as you can see, look at this, mowing everything down. Get that slow reload speed out of the way, get that buffed up. Enemies literally don't stand a chance with this. Incarnon form reminds me of the Torrid Incarnon. It's pretty nice, got a few red crits in there. As you can see, pretty decent damage overall, shredding through enemies. So yeah, I would highly recommend using this weapon. As you can see, it is pretty good, and I reckon you'd have a lot of fun with it. The boar was underpowered for the most part, and I'm glad they gave it some sort of Incarnon form, because the weapon is decently old, and I feel like an Incarnon form definitely served this weapon justice, because it is one of my favorite weapons, so I am glad that they made a boar Incarnon. So far, this is up there with the Strun, Latron, and Mitre, with the Torrid, of course, as an S tier weapon. I would highly recommend this weapon. Well guys, I hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, as everything helps me out. And let me know your thoughts on the Incarnon Boar. For me, as I said, I'd have to give it a S tier rating. It is really good. The Incarnon form is pretty decent too, and I just love the way the Incarnon form works. It's a nice beam that latches onto enemies. So yeah guys, if you have any feedback for me, it would be much appreciated. Everything helps me out in the long run. And that being said, it's been Swim, guys. Later. Fearless.